Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's Veeam 100 show. I hope you're all having an amazing first day of August. My name is Safiya Mohamed, and I'm a community analyst here at Veeam, and I'm joining you from our Veeam office in Columbus, Ohio. We have 3 guests today joining you from Texas in the States, Canada, and the Netherlands. Be sure to let us know in the comments where you're joining us from today, and give us any of your questions that you have from today's show in the comments, and we'll be happy to answer them live. This is our 9th Veeam 100 show, and it's a very special edition with some very special guests. If you're unfamiliar with the Veeam 100 show, this is a monthly show that occurs on the first Thursday of every month, and it's a chance for our Veeam 100, our top technical evangelists from our Veeam community, those are our legends, our vanguards, and our MVPs, to showcase any projects that they are working on and passionate about sharing with the wider community. This episode is a special edition, as I mentioned, because we are highlighting a project from our Veeam Community Hackathon today. And you might have seen a few weeks ago, we had our first special edition episode where our Kubernetes team discussed their project, and you can catch the replay of that on YouTube. For today's show, I'm joined by 3 of our community members, one being the Hackathon co-founder, Maurice Kevenaar, and 2 of our participants in the hackathon, Hin Tang and Joe Gremillion. Before we discuss the hackathon and the projects from last year, would you guys like to give an introduction of yourselves? Joe, you go first.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Joe Gremillion. I am a regional senior solutions architect for Veeam Software. Been a Veeam MVP, working on my 4th year, and hopefully I'll make it 1 more year.
Hin?
Hi everyone. My name is Hin Tang, and I am a cloud solutions architect with MSP here in Canada. I've been a Veeam legend for 2 years now, and I'm also a VUG leader for Cloud City and for VUG Canada. And I've had a great experience with the community, the Veeam community. It's been great.
Nice. Maurice, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Maurice Kevenaar. I'm a system engineer at Info in Amsterdam, and I am a Veeam Vanguard. I am a VUG leader for the VUG Netherlands and the automation desk, and co-founder of the Veeam Community Hackathon, and on top of that, also an Object First ace.
Nice. And Maurice, as I mentioned, you're the co-founder of the hackathon, along with Jonah May, who featured on the show last month discussing the Kubernetes project. Could you give an overview of what a hackathon is for those who are unfamiliar? Maybe they've never participated in one before.
A hackathon is in this case, community-driven event where people from all over the world come together and create a project on top of the Veeam products that we already know and love. For example, we could look at the project that Jorge de la Cruz created on the Grafana dashboard. That would be a perfect example of something that could come out of a hackathon.
Yeah, definitely. Could you tell us what inspired you and Jonah to create this hackathon? I mean, many companies, many cities have local hackathons, and we've discussed it even before the call while preparing here. Can you discuss why you and Jonah wanted to bring the hackathon concept to Veeam's community?
Yeah, sure. For me as a Vanguard, I was able to get in touch with product strategy, product management, and the team around it, and being able to communicate with peers and the software developers and the people around Veeam. And I wanted to give a little bit of that back to the community, and to be able to give the community a taste of what it is to be a Vanguard or a Legend or an MVP in case of Joe. So that helps. I think that helps the community to feel a bit what we experience in the Veeam 100, and gives them a possibility to understand the things that we do and that we are able to.
Yeah, connecting more to the larger community for those who might not be involved in these smaller programs. It's a great way to meet Veeam members if they're not as familiar, as connected. And that kind of goes into my next question. Why should someone who's never been a part of a hackathon or never been a part of Veeam's hackathon from last year, why would they what would you say to convince them, or what's a reason that they should have to join this year's hackathon?
Well, for starters, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun because you're able to communicate with people that are close to you in your country and learn of people that are able to do similar things or are doing a similar thing like you, for starters. And it creates a product, it creates a thing on top of the products, and it could be implemented later on in different applications, or maybe even incorporated in the Veeam products as well. And I think that's an amazing way to connect with Veeam as well. And on top of that, there's swag.
Of course, the swag. I don't know if Jeff Burke is watching, but he would attest to that for sure. Joe and Hin, as participants from last year, do you agree with the reasons Maurice gave? Do you have any additional reasons for other people to participate in a hackathon?
Yeah, I agree with everything Maurice said, but I'd just like to add what I really liked about it is the collaborative nature, right? I mean, you get to work with people from all different countries, right? We got to work with people from different organizations with different skill sets, right? And to be able to learn that. And plus, for me, I've never been involved in a hackathon before. So it was, kind of about like drinking from a fire hose, but learning how to use some of the newer technologies that everybody else is using for development, right? And being able to catch up on that. I thought that was really interesting. And that's what I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah, I agree with what both of them have said. It was great to just connect with people from all over the world. And like Maurice and Joe both said, of all levels, right? Like there's some programmers. We had a student who joined our team, and everyone can contribute, right? And that was the great thing, is that we spent some time getting to know everyone and figuring out what everyone can contribute. And it's also great because we're contributing to products that we use and we really believe in. So yeah, that's why it was great.
Yeah, it's incredible to collaborate with people all around the world. And people who might not even know Veeam. I mean, Hen, you mentioned you worked with a student, but I know a few people joined through other connections and they had no experience with using Veeam. So it's an awesome opportunity to connect, to meet people from all over the world. We have a great global audience today, someone even watching in New Zealand. I don't even know what time it is in New Zealand, maybe 1 a.m. or something. So welcome. So it's a great opportunity, and I would encourage everyone to get involved. And I hope that this episode encourages you even more to participate this September in our hackathon. So before we discuss more of the hackathon, we should probably discuss last year's project. So Maurice, would you like to take it over and discuss the PowerPoint?
Yeah, sure. I do want to add one small little thing. I saw in the signups, I think today, that someone working on his thesis actually joined. He's doing a thesis on backup. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to connect to people like us who are already experienced in the world of the backup. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So
you'll be mentioned in a thesis.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe.
So for today, we already had our introductions, and we are going to talk about the Team 4 product, and that was the Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 Best Practice Analyzer. And after that, we will have a hackathon Q&A, and we are announcing the second annual Veeam Community Hackathon as well, including QR codes for you to work on. So guys, the Veeam VB365 Best Practice Analyzer. Can you tell me a bit about it, Joe?
Yeah, so when we first started, we went ahead and brainstormed on a bunch of different ideas that we could do to make the M365 product better. We had things from being able to pull out, show reporting for throttling in the backup product, to all kinds of things. We finally, as a team, got together. We upvoted the VB365 Best Practice Analyzer. And the idea of this was taken from basically VBR. So as you know, VBR before version 10 had a Best Practices Analyzer that got renamed the Security Analyzer. And basically that went and looked to make sure that the VBR server was set up properly and was going to be secure out of the box. So we thought, okay, well, that's one thing that's really missing from VB365 is if we had a way to just go ahead and look at the best practices for securing it and being able to put out a report or something that shows, hey, this is what you need to take care of to make sure this is operating in a secure environment, or this is something you need to work on.
Yeah, and what kind of best practices did you implement in?
Well, as you can see on this list, we really brainstormed a bunch of things that we wanted to create checks for. And as you can see, the ones on the left are the ones that we actually found checks for. So in the GitHub, we basically listed all of the things we wanted to find, and people worked on it whenever they had time and put in solutions. So the ones on the left ended up being closed issues, and the ones on the right we didn't get to, we didn't find fixes for. So they were still open issues. And then the interesting part of the story is that a lot of these were actually implemented into the as-built report. Another Veeam Vanguard, Jonathan Cologne, was able to go in, but the funny thing is that he didn't look at all of our closed issues. He only looked at the open issues. So those are actually integrated into the as-built report. But we have let him know that the closed issues should also be implemented. So hopefully that will be in the next version of the as-built report.
Yeah, can you give us a really quick short overview on what the as-built report actually is?
Joe, did you want to take that?
Oh, you can take that in.
Okay, yeah. So the as-built report basically does an analysis of your VB365 server, as well as the proxies, and does a number of checks to see, like, for example, encryption, certificate expiry, object lock on your object repositories and things like that. And it gives you a summary of all the things, and it actually has best practice suggestions for things that it finds.
Yeah, it's available for both Veeam Backup for replication and Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365, right?
That's right. Yes, there's two different ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what I thought was interesting.
Sorry, Joe. Yeah, it seems like someone in the comments, Marcio from Brazil, he's saying he's already taking advantage of it, already participated in excellent projects with Veeam for M365, performance and ease combined with phenomenal technology. So it's great that these as-built reports are already being utilized.
Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm.
What I thought was great about our project too is that from our brainstorming, we were able to contribute to other projects inside the community that weren't a part of this whole hackathon, right? And so we were able to feed ideas to help make some of the community-based projects better. Absolutely. And if you haven't seen the as-built report, it's phenomenal for reporting out best practices. Gives you a nice little report on what's set, what needs to be fixed. I really like that.
Yeah, we actually have some screenshots from the as-built report from the Veeam Backup for Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 Best Practice Analyzer part. As you can see here, I think you can check if the proxies are domain joined. You can see a lot of other things in. Can you elaborate on these a bit?
Yeah, so as you can see, I don't know if you remember, but from the last slide, the ones on the right were the ones that were still open issues. So Jonathan was able to take those and find checks for them and actually put them in here. So you can see, like on the left-hand side, you can see if the servers are domain joined, and it shows a best practice at the bottom there. Also checks for expiry date for certificates and whether the S3 repositories use encryption. And there was a bunch more. I think there were about nine items from our open issues that were incorporated into the latest version of the as-built report. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition on the as-built report. I've used them myself before on both VB365 and VBM. VBR. So I know of these reports, and I think they give you a handbook basically on how you have set up your application. So I think it's a great addition, a great product. So moving on, I think we are ready for the QR codes of the best practice analyzer. You can find the best practice analyzer at the QR code on the left of your screen. And if you want to read more on the team for submission, you can scan the QR code on the right of your screen and then click on top on previous events and Hackathon 2023, and you will find all the information about the team for submission.
So now we've discussed the project from last year.
Yeah.
Some questions about working on the project. Hin and Joe, you talked about some of the good things working on the hackathon, but were there any challenges that your team faced last year working on this project?
Yeah, I would say one of the big challenges was that the time zone differences. We had team members from across the globe, and it was hard to to get the time synced up properly. And then the challenge for me is I've never used Discord really. It's not my tool of choice, and thank God I have my 17-year-old son here who can give me a really quick Discord tutorial. I hate to admit that, but that was a challenge for me. And of course, I being a non-developer, I don't really use GitHub too much, right? So having to come up to speed on GitHub was a little hard for me. But I think the biggest challenge was kind of the time zone coordination.
Yeah, for people who are unaware of GitHub and Discord, for this year, we are actually going to do a webinar on GitHub and Discord and Git as well. And we will be joined by a special guest who is actually a GitHub star, which is their program for like MVPs or Vanguards and Legends.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of those things. Yeah, there was a challenge of, because this is a virtual event, trying to coordinate everyone's, times. In addition, like this is in addition to most people's regular jobs. So just finding the time to coordinate with people. And as Maurice said, the Discord and the GitHub, people didn't know how to do it. So that was part of what I found was a challenge, is that the time was very tight. As you can see, like we had a really long list of things to work on, and we got through maybe about half of them. If we had more time, we probably could have finished off that list. And then those things have been addressed, like with a tutorial on how to use Discord and GitHub. That will mean that people won't be using the hackathon time to actually learn those products, right? So
yeah.
And we are also extending the hackathon from actually 1 day to a complete 3 days. So it's bigger and better compared to last year. We also will try to create teams who are in similar time zones. We cannot give everyone in the same time zone, but similar. So there are only 1 or 2 or 3 hours difference between the team members.
Yeah, that will definitely help. I know that was a big, that was a lot of the feedback from last year, was the timing and then time zones. It's hard for someone in Toronto to be working with someone in Sydney. So it's great that these improvements are being made for this year.
Yeah, so moving on, well, let's skip this one. The second annual Veeam Community Hackathon will be held on September 26 till 29 this year. And if you want to join, please sign up right now. Signups are open until September 6th, midnight Central Eastern time, I believe. You can go to veeamhackathon.com/sign-up or scan the QR code here on screen.
We hope to see you there.
We do. Maurice, as a co-founder, I know we discussed a few of the other changes, but this hackathon we've been talking about, it'll be bigger and better for 2024. What will the experience be like for someone who might have not experienced the hackathon even last year? Can you give like a overview?
Well, from the top of my mind, we open communication for teams on September 20 already. We will have a small kickoff call with everyone. And if you cannot attend, it will be recorded and will be put up on YouTube for you to watch later. But starting September 20, you and your team are able to brainstorm, get to know each other, and figure out a bit who they are, what they are capable of, what they can do, and continue on finding a common ground on what you want to create in your project as a team. Then on September 26th, we will open up the repositories and people can actually write the code, do the project and support and so on for 3 days long. And after that, you have a couple of days, I believe, until early October to submit your video presentation and your PowerPoint presentation alongside that to the provided link, so everybody can watch. The judges can watch that video and judge you based on your contributions.
Nice. And there is a halftime show from what I've heard as well this year. That'll be a new addition.
That will be a new addition as well. I think after 24 hours, so it's not really halftime, because halftime in 3 days, it's a bit middle of the night for some people, which is a bit more challenging. So we will do a halftime show, and that halftime show will contain a lot of things. For starters, we are going to ask if there are any impediments, things that are unable to work for you out, and see if we can fix them on the spot. Aside from that, if you have an issue before that time, feel free. We have a ticketing system. You can create a ticket, and we will see what we can do during the first 24 hours, obviously. But we can talk about the things that you are challenging currently, or what you have a problem with, and we will try and give you feedback and guide you through the processes. And we will have a fun quiz.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. It'll be a nice check-in with everyone. Just to
Exactly.
get a feel of how it's been going so far. What can we do for the next half of the hackathon? I think it'll be great to include that this year.
Yeah.
If I could make one more comment. We've been talking a lot about coding. If you're thinking on the fence about joining, don't worry if you're not a programmer or a developer. Neither Joe or I are particularly strong in that area, but everyone can contribute in different areas. Some people are good at connecting people, some people are good at organizing. I put together the presentation and recorded it, so everyone can contribute. So don't worry about if you feel like your coding skills aren't up to snuff. Just sign up and you'll be put on a team, and the team leader will find a place for you.
Yeah, we always need people to do research of the products, right?
Yep.
Research of other best practices, like to be able to put the best practice in there. Somebody had to go dig up the best practices to put in the report, and all that stuff. So there's plenty of stuff to do. Once you get the technology figured out, you can really contribute.
Or if you're a video editor.
Yep.
Yeah, we're trying to get Jeff
absolutely.
from the video production, who's producing the show right now. We're trying to get him involved for this year. So yeah, anybody can be involved. Don't think that any of your skills are limiting you from participating this year.
No, and if you're interested and not sure on if you can join or if you can even contribute, on our website, the veeamhackathon.com website, you can find a link to our Discord. If you're familiar with Discord, or send us an email. There is an email address in there as well, and ask your question. Feel free to ask the questions, and we can always see if we can find you some way to contribute, because it's just a really fun event for everyone, and see and be able to communicate with people in the community and within Veeam as well.
Definitely. Well, as we're in the last couple of minutes of the show, I wanted to ask all three of you, if you could describe the hackathon in a few words, what would you say about it? Take your time.
Joe, do you want to start?
On the
spot. I always got to go first. I would say community collaboration and ideation, right? Creating ideas, right? Yeah.
Thought Joe was going for the 3 C's there.
Yeah.
Community, collaboration, ideation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Maurice?
Joe took some of those words. Yeah, definitely community. feeling like you're connected with people from all over the world. It was great to work with people that I kind of knew by name, but hadn't really worked with before. But yeah, also just the feeling of contributing to the product, contributing to a product that I believe in, right?
Yeah, for me, I think my background says it all. Development, it's flipped, so I cannot see it in my
Presenting.
Spending time, promotion, goal, teamwork, community, everything. It all combines into one big event, and that's the hackathon.
Yeah. And will the two of you, Hin and Joe, who participated last year, will you guys be involved this year?
Yes,
Yep, already signed up.
I signed up as leader this year. Looking for team members.
Okay.
So
This is an open
I'd
call. So if
appreciate it.
anyone who's watching live wants to join Joe's team, let him know. Open call to join Joe's team.
And you, Hin?
Yes, I've already signed up as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
So,
So if you haven't signed up and if you're interested in joining, please scan the QR code on this site and join us on the call in September 20 and the hackathon is September 26 to 29.
All right. I think we're ready to close out the show unless anyone has anything else to add in the last minute. But if not, I want to thank you all for joining this show today. One call out to Rick's comment. He says collaboration, community, and coordination. Coordinated use case, collaborated delivery, and community for the win. Nice way to close it out, Rick.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Hin and Joe, thank you for discussing your experience with the hackathon last year. Maurice, thank you for joining and discussing it from your perspective as a co-founder. You will be back next month on September 5th for the next Veeam 100 show where we'll be discussing the winning team of the hackathon. So definitely stay tuned for that. That'll be exciting. Thank you to Jeff and Felicia for producing this episode. And thank you for tuning in, everyone. Stay engaged with the hackathon, scan the QR code on the screen to learn more, and we hope to see you next month.
Have a good week,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.